All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Kelly Couch. Welcome to today's Legend Hacking Success Call. I'm always ready to hear from Bryon Jaymes, so I'm going to keep this short and to the point. Raise your hand if Bryon's Friday lessons always fire you up for the weekend. So, me, double hand. So, who loved hearing last night from Kelsey Giggy? Like, put in the comments one of your biggest takeaways, how many people you shared that out to. Her story was so incredible. I was thinking about it on my run this morning, and I was getting chills again. Like, that story can impact so many people, you guys, and it's one of our most important connection tools. Like, people's stories, like, yes, the doctor calls are great, yes, all that information is great, but those stories are going to impact more people than any of that stuff ever will. So make sure you're sharing that out every time you think of someone that could possibly affect their lives. So do you guys know what today is? I was preparing for this call and I was looking up, like, you know, Pruvit always shares like Grape Day or different ones. Today, April 5th, is Go for Broke Day. How perfect is that? A day for taking a chance, giving it all you have, and leaving nothing undone. I thought that was perfect. So also happens to fall on Friday Best Day. Can't go wrong there. So reboots are still on the site. I was wrong yesterday. I thought they ended on the 4th, but they're still there now. And pre-show pricing for Keto Academy and more ends April 11th. So make sure you get your tickets, secure your spots there. And I saw on the Pulse, they winked a little new Pruvit technology might be released there. So I'm excited to see what that is too. So let's real quick, we'll go do gratitude. Text someone today, Friday. You know someone that's Friday's their best day of the week, right? Because they live for the weekends. Text them, tell them you're excited, make their day amazing, and then get that conversation going. Today's the day to go, guys. Everyone's happy, not just us. We're happy every day, right? But text someone now that you appreciate, and then we'll get into recognition. All right, so since it's Going for Broke Day, I want you guys to recognize in the comments someone who's doing just that, someone who's all in on their vision and their commitment to change lives. Tony Cohen for always being here for me. Just Tony Cohen? Come on, guys. Mick Carrier, Jesse Anderson, Katie Rose, Michelle Liker, Stephanie Beck is on fire. Sam Shearer, Emily Maurice, a TMZ Challenge group on fire. Tiffany L for always holding me accountable. Tiffany Heinrich, Jessica Hoffman showing up big in her first week as a promoter. Katie Rose, my husband Tommy and kids Rocco and Pax. Abigail Klutz, Camille, my sister. All right. Oh, Nate and Anna, Annie Love, Brittany Askin, Rocking April. Love it. Rocking April. It's the 5th. That's the way to go. Rock it right in the beginning. All right, perfect. So over on the Pruvit page, I don't know if you guys saw, every Friday they put a new post up on the Keto 101 page on YouTube. So probably 20 minutes ago, they dropped one from Colin Champ. It's about finding the right diet for the long term. So go check that out when we get off of here. And with that, I'm going to give it on over to Bryon. I think I have to unmute you, so give me a second here. You good?
I think I'm good. Can you hear me? All right. Well, today is Friday. Today's best day, so I'm gonna crack a keto up here for what does it Go for Broke Day, which is awesome. And all right, somebody trying to call me. Hold on. Okay. So today's a beautiful day. Today is Friday, and I'm excited just once again to have the honor and privilege. You know, I understand that from my end that, you know, I am really truly grateful that I have someone or something or you individuals to just be able to share a little bit with. And first off, I just want to say congratulations and incredible job this week for everybody that just continues to pour into this 90-day Rhino Run. Hopefully all of you appreciate the fact that, you know, everyone truly, they prepare for this. They put their heart into this. They become vulnerable, right? They're in the process of growing, which is where we all should want to be. And I'm going to kind of give you a foundational evolution of your business and growing a business here today. You know, it's kind of funny. And by the way, let's everyone give a big round of applause to Kelly Couch, who does such an incredible job hosting. You can tell she puts so much energy, effort, and preparation into it. It's incredible. So Kelly, and this is such a testament, guys. I've known Kelly since high school. And to say that she's a different person today than she was in high school is not even on the same planet, and to then see her get into, a business of her own and really completely do a 180 on her direction in life, and to see how that all started, believe it or not, Miss Positive, amazing, awesome. Kelly was, what I remember was not so positive. She was kind of, and I knew better. I knew better to go to Kelly, because I went to Nick and I'm like, dude, y'all, you need to talk to Kelly. Because Kelly was kind of, at first maybe an anchor. Here's what's crazy. Now Nick's trying to catch up to that damn anchor. Like, it's so crazy how when we change, when we really focus on the things we want in life and we put our head down and we truly, look in the mirror and say, like, hey, if it's to be, it's up to me. Like, and I've seen that change in Kelly, and it's just, I continue to see it every day. And what's funny is that as she continues to grow over the next 5 years, she will continue to be a world change. She's already impacting hundreds of people's lives, thousands of people's lives. This is a progression. This is a progression we all make. And it's because Kelly decided 5 years ago not to quit, not to give up, to continue to press in and press up and, support Nick. And I told Nick, and he thought I was full of crap, is that I'm like, bro, one day, I promise you, when he thought that it was the most negative, I said, bro, one day, I promise you, she will not just pass you, but she will blow you out of the water. I'm telling you. And he'll attest to that today. So anyways, sorry I got on that little kick, but Kelly, seriously, I can't, every time I hear you, every time I see you, it brings it to me, and it makes me sometimes say, you know what? This is the reason why I continue to do what I do, because to see the change in people, and sometimes when you're just getting started, you see little changes maybe a month down the road, but if you've seen someone as long as I've seen Kelly and her development and her change, it should give everybody hope, but you got to put in the time to see the change. So thank you so much, Kelly. You're amazing. And that just kind of goes to where I want to get started today is Kelly texted me this morning. She said, wakey, wakey. She said, what are you going to cover today? What's your topic for today? And when I responded to her, I literally responded. I said, I have no clue. Just keep it a general topic. And the reason I said that is because I had something prepared and I was thinking about something very specific here over the past couple days. And just this morning, it hit me like a ton of bricks. And sometimes that happens, is I have had some things that have happened to me personally here over the last couple of weeks that really took me to a place where I'm like, this has to be the framework. I still think that sometimes, and maybe let me know if you agree with me in the chat, is that sometimes the most profound things, like the things that just absolutely shock you or the things that absolutely grab your attention many times, and who would agree with me, they're the most simple things. Like you dive into a book, for instance, like The Magic of Thinking Big, and you're hoping for this massively profound, crazy, whatever. And then it's like you find yourself highlighting and underlining things that are so just stupid simple. Like it's like, oh my God, yet it's so profound. And that's really where I wanted to go today is going back to simplicity from like not even a 10,000 foot view, but being literally in the Earth's atmosphere to really be able to see the bigger picture and to just continue to reinforce simplicity. And here's a big part for me. 2 weeks ago, well, I think I mentioned this last Friday, or maybe it was Monday, actually. I forgot that I did Monday. I made a commitment months ago, and I think it was inspired by a couple different things. It was inspired by my incredible wife, the birth of my daughter. And every day that I wake up next to her, like this morning, she's blabbing. She just blabs and blabs and like just constantly, and I realized that like she wasn't doing that a few weeks ago and now she is. But every time that she grows and changes on a daily basis, it's like, man, I need to be a better version of myself. I need to continue to get better for her. Now, for the longest time in my life, I did things so selfishly. And, it wasn't until this concept of a team, which I'm going to get into because it's number 4 on one of the most important foundations, pillars, if you will, the foundation of building and growing your business here, is, literally taking your eyes off yourself and putting them on other people, putting them on other people's outcomes, putting them on other people's goals, putting them on other people's dreams. I mean, it's hard. We're naturally just selfish. It's okay. Like it is. The first point, the first way to get over selfishness is to come to grips with the fact that you're selfish. How do I know you are? How do I know you're conceited? How do I know you're selfish? How do I know because bottom line is every time that you look at a group picture, I guarantee you are the first person that you look for every time. You don't look for, so-and-so. No, you look for yourself. Don't, and I challenge you, you're going to laugh every time you do this now that you're more conscious of it, but the first person, you don't look for your kid. You don't look for your, like you may have a whole bunch of kids, but the first thing you're looking is, how do I look in that picture? Did I look, my hair was, no, I had a stupid smile. I had a blah, blah, blah. It's okay. I promise you, it's okay. That's where we have to first start and come to grips with. So point being is that I made a commitment 2 weeks ago or 3 months ago that I was going to get in the best shape of my life. And a lot of that was inspired by the fact that, I want to be the best example I possibly can for my daughter and my son and just my family, period. And it's created a whole level of inspiration in me. And it's funny because I battled with that and try, fail, quit, adjust, not start, lack of commitment, the whole nine over the past 3 months. But, that's what growing is. That's what advancing is. Like, the first time you commit to something, if it was 21 days and you get 2 out of the 21, hey, look at yourself and say, hey, I won. I got 2 out of 21, right? And then the next time you try to get a little better, and a little better, and a little better, as you hear me talk a lot about goal setting and goals and following those things, my journey of goal setting was so broken up and so inconsistent and so, not a great example. But you know what? I just continued to stick with it. I just continued to tackle it and wrestle it and try to get a little bit better. And as I look today, I may seem less relatable because I'm so dialed into it, but it's come from frustrations. It's come from just failing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And just being too stubborn and maybe sometimes too stupid to quit. Literally. That's sometimes success just comes out of just being too freaking stubborn and too dumb to quit. And it's okay. I encourage you to be dumb in your pursuit of success, in your pursuit of your goals and the things you want to achieve. So, anyways, I was looking for additional accountability. I was looking for, whether it be third-party coaching, whether it was through a book or a program or whatever. I was looking for that accountability, and I found it 3 weeks ago. And, it was crazy as I was kind of sold on it from an aspect of that it was like this super technical. It was a secret. It was massively advanced. Here's what I was doing. I was getting sucked into what I try to help reinforce here constantly all the time, which is your success is 100%. This is great. I'm giving a double percentage statistic here. So I believe that your success is based on 100% of something, but 98% of that being your attitude and 2% of that being technique. You're looking for the technique. You're looking for this, you're looking in the 2% for this massive, profound thing that you're not doing or thing that you're not seeing or thing that you're looking in the 2, which even if you find something in the 2, it's only effing 2%. It can't be that big of an impact. It can't be that big of a change because I promise you, while you're focused on the 2%, where you need to focus and where all of the changes and where all the things that need to happen, they're in the 98%. There's a lot to look for in there is my point. And I'm going somewhere with this. So I got sucked into it because I got this coaching. I got this accountability. And by the way, it's kind of a lesson in that too. I paid for this thing. So I put finances into it. I put time into it, reading it, breaking it down, blah, blah, blah. But I get sucked into thinking that there's a secret or a high-level technique or a blah, whatever. And as I dive into it, literally, everything I know, everything I've done, everything I've applied, it's literally the most simple. I'm like, why did I even pay? And then I realize is that I still should have invested in this. I still should have paid for this. Why? Because I was missing the point. So was it still a good investment? Did I waste my money? Did I waste my time? No. Actually, what it did is it went back and reinforced the simplicity and the foundation, which I was losing sight of, which I will tell you, as you grow in any area, 9 times out of 10, you will lose parts of the fundamentals. You go to professional sports, they talk about this all the time, is that some of the best coaches in the world are the greatest at keeping their team, their superstars, their best of the best, focused on the fundamentals. Why? Because as you perfect your craft, as you get better and better, if you constantly go back and visit the fundamentals and the foundation, it allows you to get even better, even better. Because sometimes as we do grow in an area, we get away from the foundation and the basics, and then we hit a sticking point and we think, and like I did, I'm a great example of, I hit a sticking point and didn't realize that all I had to do was reverse engineer myself back to the foundation, back to the basics, and I would have realized very quickly what I was not doing right, what I was short on, what I was missing. But instead, I saw it in the 2% that there's got to be a secret or something has to be more advanced or this. I got sucked into it. So point being is this, is I started this routine 2 weeks ago. It was the simplest little things that I already knew that I had lost track of doing, from being lazy, from just not focusing, from getting in sometimes it's when we do the same thing over and over and over and over again, it gets monotonous and we get bored with it or whatever. But I have had massive, massive, massive success in terms of all the physical things. I mean, I looked at all these things that I took, whether it be strength or body fat or all these things, I've made massive gains, results, whatever, progression in the last 2 weeks just by changing some of the most basic, simple, elemental things that I just lost sight of. I forgot about. I wasn't doing that. Like, it was profound. This is why I felt led to share it today. And I want to go back and kind of give you that. So, I'm going to give you a couple examples of this as we break it down. And I did this for Kelsey because Kelsey said she loves when I write stuff down. So here you go. Can y'all see that? And if you can't, it's okay if you can kind of see it, because I'll kind of explain what each one of these actually are. All right. So fundamentally, like let's go back to the basic building blocks of our business, right? This is going to, if you understand this, like I said, in my opinion, a 10,000 foot perspective of this and more of the technical aspect of this is the Go Challenge, right? We know that, like, the things that you need to achieve within the Go Challenge, within that technique, if you will, of, Go Pro, Go MVP, Go All-Star, following that specific structure, you guys realize that the attitude and the goals and the want and all the mindset stuff is what drives, someone to go pro, go MVP, go all-star, and what have you. But sometimes, and I think we're all guilty of this just based on our programming throughout life, we're so structured. We sometimes, I see when a green gets a hold of the Go Challenge, it's like 5 and +3 and plus, and it's this, like, it's all these numbers and categories and blah, blah, blah. By the time, here's what's so crazy. By the time they do it and complete it, they have no effing clue what they actually just did from, like, a real world perspective. They made some numbers and some calculations happen, and they made the red go green, and they have no idea what the hell they just did. Now, I think we all have a little bit of, whether you like it or not, we all have a little bit of that green in us. And sometimes we do things, we execute the game plan, but we don't see from a higher level perspective, like, what did we actually just do? And this was my journey in this industry, in this space for such a long time, because I was very coachable, through sports and everything else. Like, I was super coachable because I'd been coached my entire life. I knew how to be a good, a good player, if you will. And I knew how to follow a coach's instructions. But many times, and this is why we talk about it, it's so important that if you're going to train on something, if you're going to coach somebody on something, while they're looking for the how-to, it's so incredibly important that if you want them to truly advance and advance faster, to help them more on why they're doing it versus the how-to. They want the how-to, but you'll need to slow them down and give the big emphasis and the big understanding around the why first. So I've been a great coach, and literally I was just following instruction. I was just following coaching, but I was doing it so blindly, which, by the way, if you're a coach and you have a player that follows your instruction blindly, they're going to have massive success, and you look for that and you love that. But it's just important for you to know that in what we do, someone following you blindly in the beginning through C1 is amazing, but you also want to start planting seeds. You also want to start helping create an understanding around what they're actually doing as well. So hopefully, and I'm going to give you, as I break this down for you guys, hopefully you know that I'm somebody that I can't teach theory. I can't give, what I think. Majority of everything that I share with you comes from my own stupid screw-ups, failures, everything. And I'm not, 9 times out of 10, it's just me throwing myself under the bus, hopefully helping you understand that, number one, if he can do it, anybody can do it. But more importantly, I'm not giving you theory. I can only share with you from my heart, based on where I'm at. I can't share theory with you. I can't share the what ifs with you. I can only share with you what I've done and what I see and what I've been through. So with that being said, I remember it clear as day, probably 5 years into what I was doing. I just stopped one time and I was driving. I didn't have any music playing. I had nothing going on. And literally I just thought, I'm like, oh my God, all we're doing is just buying our product, doing this and doing it hit me like this, where I'm like, this whole time I've been executing something that I didn't even realize what I was doing. And when I had that breakthrough, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so freaking simple. And it gave me the power to do more. It gave me the confidence and the belief that, oh my gosh, I've been making this way too hard. So here we go. Everybody ready to go? Give me double thumbs up if you're still with me and you're ready to go. Okay, if you're not, I was gonna have you guys do push-ups and really get the blood flowing this morning, but if not, just hold your breath for like 10 seconds longer than you typically can, and it'll get your heart rate going to where you're like, oh my God, you'll pay attention. So number one, and this goes in progress. By the way, it has to go 1, 2, 3, 4. I didn't have enough time this morning to try to create a picture analogy or whatever, but you guys understand what it takes to get momentum. And actually one part of what I was going to talk about today, but we're not going to have time, but it's okay. But where do you need to get momentum and understanding foundationally? If you want to build a business and you want to create something here, small, big, or massive, you still have to understand this. This is looking from space down on your potential business or your current business as a whole. So number one, it all starts with volume. Volume. Now, what do we consider to be volume in the foundational sense? Well, it's number one, you. It all has to start with you, right? You see people that have started different businesses. I'm going to use the example of more traditional style businesses. And when they do, they completely just they sell out to it, right? I've got a buddy that started a gym and he was one of the finest, he has got one of the most incredible wardrobes I've ever seen from an individual. Yet I've never seen him since he started that gym wear any of those clothes. Why? Because he's always wearing clothing that states it's his gym, his business. When he went into business, he absolutely took full, complete ownership of it. And my point is that he got to the point in the beginning where he wouldn't even work out at another gym. He was out of state and he won't even work out because he's like, that's dollars I'm spending on somebody else's gym when I need to spend it on my own gym. Where sometimes I have it written down here, taking the product is the highest level of belief. You know what? Something that's really basic here that you'll notice from all the achievers and leaders is that the product freaks. They love the product. I'm double fisting this morning, right? I just had Unleashed and now I'm drinking it up. Shouldn't you spread it out, right? No, the people that absolutely believe in what we're doing and believe in ketones and believe in their business, they never miss a beat. So for example, I drink coffee maybe once a month. And here's the reason why. why would I want to budget? Why would I want to take resources? In this world, we call it money, right? Why would I want to put money in someone else's business or in someone else's thing that takes away from mine? So my point is that I don't drink coffee because we don't sell. I have something that achieves what a coffee would achieve for me. And why do I do it once a month? Because sometimes it's like I like the taste of it, right? That's okay, right? Eventually, maybe we'll have coffee. I don't know. But the point is that I look at every category that I would be putting resources out to something else and figure out how can I redirect those resources back to me. Like, why would I have, for me personally, why would I buy something for sleep when Keto Calm Tea puts me on my butt? Like, it gives me the most crazy dreams ever. But point is, I get great sleep. You know, why would I be buying MCT oil or something from Amazon or something, whatever, when we have MCT 143? The point is that are you the absolute best customer of your own business? You know, I had a partner a long time ago, and this stuck with me big time. He would never take his own product off the warehouse shelf or off whatever. He would go in and he would transact and he would buy it. He would literally be sitting in his storefront, in his office, and he would go online, purchase an order with his credit card, and he would go back in the back and then take it that way. Meaning that it had nothing to do about the fact that he couldn't do it, but he just believed in being his own best customer. He believed in paying for his own product. You know, like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, if a direct relation of how many customers you have, I guarantee you is in direct proportion to how great of a customer you are of your own business. And it's something elemental that has to be taught, that has to be understood. Some of you are like, Brian, this is so basic, this is stupid. Really? Really? Because you understand that your business could get better, right? You understand that you could be more loyal to your own business, because understand this, the size of these things will be determined on the size of your foundation. The size of your foundation. And the size of your foundation is created by your own personal use of our ketone products and SKUs. And number two, the customers that you obtain or that you create through your own, obviously, you know, it's one of those things that, you know, if I travel somewhere, I'm thinking like, dude, I'm going to take double the amount of ketones that I think I need for myself. And then I'm going to take 5 times more in case I meet somebody or in case I do something. You know, a great example is yesterday I was having lunch with 2 guys, and at the end of lunch, they both ordered an espresso. And the one looked at me and said, oh, you're not going to have, do you not like caffeine or whatever? I said, oh, no. I said, I'm good. I'm going to have, like, as soon as I get back to the house, I'm going to have ketones. Now, I should have had them on me so I could have opened it up right there while they were having their espresso. I had something that was 10 times better, and I would have been a better example. And, hey, but what's cool is one of them is has become a customer in that same period of time. But it's because, hey, I could have just got an espresso. Their espresso looked really good. It looked really tasty after the meal that we just had. But you know what? I said, no. I said, I want to be loyal to my business first, right? I don't want to give this establishment, you know, more than I need to. Plus, I would most likely create some attraction out of standing my ground in my own loyalty and in my own excitement. Sometimes as we grow and as we progress, we lose sight of the initial intensity of our own excitement, of our own belief. Like, I would challenge most of you that have been part of this community for 6 months to a year, I would challenge you that you're not as excited on the foundational level, you know, today as you were when you first got started, right? And tell me if you agree with that, or if you're to assess yourself and you would agree with that. Even if it's 1% less, in the beginning, it's excitement. It's those things that really fire us up and really drive us. Hey, by the way, son of a bee, you all know I can't fit in a box. You know, it's just sometimes I'm just massively against it. But my point is that I'm already at time. Would you like me to save the rest of this for next Friday, or would you all like me to continue to go? All right, I just need permission, okay? Obviously, it'll be recorded if you do need to jump. So sorry about that, but y'all know I'm not going to say it, but it happens every time. So point being, you got to be loyal to yourself and your own business first. And you could see a million examples. Just look at somebody that has started their own business, that has done whatever, 9 times out of 10, they're a shining example of that, right? Now, your customers, and why I say this is literally if you look at your, I don't know if you want to call it a matrix, if you want to call it a whatever, if you go into your community, obviously this is a network marketing, this is a multi-level business. So if you were to open up and see that, this is, for example, this is Nick and Kelly, right? We want to get into the next point here, but before we do that is Nick and Kelly, if they want to take the next step, which is people, and they want to start franchising, is that what type of franchise example are they setting, right? So when they start their second franchise and their third and their fourth, they got to make a decision first and foremost, which, by the way, if your business and you decide that your business is just you and customers, I want to let you know that you can be full-time here. I want to let you know that you can make thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars here. I want to let you know that I've personally seen individuals with just customer acquisition that have made the amount that most CEOs in America make today, just with that alone. So, you have to make a determination if you ever want to go to step 2, which is adding people to the volume. Now, and like I said, this example is you and customers. This is now starting. If you want to create and really unlock the power of this vehicle, which is, community-based marketing with the structure that is allowed here, it'll create lifestyle that I promise you that is unmatched. And I say that because I've experienced just about every type of model, every income model, from investments to Fortune 50 company to high-level leadership to traditional business, and nothing creates the model that this creates if you decide to move into unlocking the rest of this foundation. Is everyone hanging with me? So my point back to Nick and Kelly was this, is that do they want to replicate a $50 franchise? Do they want to replicate a $1,000 franchise? Do they want to replicate $1 million franchise? The point being is that how much volume they are personally doing and their customers are doing is going to create the example of what's now being franchised and what's being replicated, and how easy that is. So, some of you are trying to franchise super shitty businesses. And I don't say that in a bad way. I don't say that whatever, and I don't say super shitty by the aspect of your volume or your whatever. More than anything, your belief, your mindset, your attitude, that you understand that that's being replicated too. The thing that's so amazing about this business is that everyone will replicate what you're doing. The terrible part about this business is that everybody will replicate what you're doing. The greatest part about business ownership is you're in charge. The worst part about business ownership is you're in charge. You see what I'm saying? It's a double-edged sword, right? So this has to be at a massive level of belief. I was investing, I'm looking at Tony Cohen right now. I was investing in 2 businesses when I first got started. I was growing 2 personal circles when I first got started. And he knows what I'm talking about, but I also believed in Tony. And the point being is that I then had to create the best example. And Tony still to this day, you'll never catch the dude not having enough product for himself or somebody else and being a shining example of this first example of volume. So what you're starting to replicate in franchise. So number 1 is volume. Our business needs volume. How many people have you seen out there? They get 1 box of freaking product, or they register with a $39 membership, and then they try to franchise. What kind of belief is behind that? And my question is, what kind of belief do you have to let them do it? I literally, when that happens, I say, you may want to go work with somebody else. You may want to go, because they're that person that if you look at now, later, and never, they're a never person. They're not even fooling me up front to let me know they kind of maybe want to do something. So point being is that this is your business. You get to run it how you want to run it. You don't have to accept. It's scarcity mentality to think that you have to accept anybody and everybody in your business. It should be the opposite. You should be trying to build an all-star team and a championship team versus begging and pleading for, B and C and D players to come and be part of your group. It will massively change the trajectory and the speed of your business. So people. So everything starts with volume, our own personal volume and how we consume, and the example of consumption and the example of having enough freaking products to create the type of attraction in order to gain the customers that we want to gain. How many of you are trying to get customers to become part of your franchise when they're not even taking ketones every day? They're not even using ketones every day. You want that replicated? You want that franchised in your business? Like, this is foundational. This is fundamental. You would not do it if you had $1 million on the line in a traditional business. You would not open another franchise with somebody that's in there working 1 day out of 7 days of the week and not eating their own freaking cooking. You got to eat your own effing cooking first. And number two, you got to work your ass off. That's the model that you want to create for everybody else, right? So, super important. Number one, our business foundationally needs volume. If you don't have the volume, you can't create the people because, hey, that's great. You just signed up 1,000 people on a $39 membership. Let me know how much your check is next month. How much is your check next month? Not only is it zero, but you've infused a lack of belief, a shitty mindset into 1,000 other people, which actually will do the opposite for you because now they're going to influence everybody else you want to talk to. And all those people are going to say, why would I want to waste $39 and think about it. So volume, then people, right? We want to franchise. That's the best example I could give you because in real life, that's what you would do. And you want to franchise a successful model. Anybody that wants to franchise or anyone that even thinks about franchising knows that, hey, I've hit a point where my business is freaking great and I want to duplicate. I want to replicate this business. Most people don't, if they have a failing mindset or if they're doing nothing, they won't even think franchising, right? They won't even think about replicating or duplicating something unless they think that they have that lottery mentality that, oh, I'm gonna open another franchise and they're gonna win big and then it's gonna help me win bigger. If that's your attitude here, you're in the wrong business. You're in the wrong business, right? Because here's what's crazy, and I've seen it happen. Even if you do happen to hit the lottery, when it happens, you'll become more insecure. You'll be more pissed with your own success because you know that you didn't create it. I've seen it happen to many people. They're more miserable, they're more depressed, they're more whatever because they realize that it did not come from their hard work, their effort, their time, their investment, their whatever, and it absolutely eats away at their mind, and therefore, you get all the byproduct of that. Number three is ranks. Ranks, and I'm gonna get very transparent with you here. If you create a great foundation of volume, a great example through your own personal use and customers, you now start franchising and replicating with other people to do the same thing. What'll happen is you'll start adding more people that add more volume, and you will start breaking ranks. You'll start hitting ranks, right? Ranks is a byproduct of number one plus number two. Number one plus number two equals number three. How crazy is that? Simple math. Ranks. What do ranks give you? Ranks are attached to money. There's no doubt about it. The more you increase in rank, the more you will increase in income. The more you increase in rank, the percentages will get better, right? It'll give you freedom. It'll allow you to essentially replace anything you want to replace, or you don't have to. It could be an add-on to whatever it is that you're already doing or whatever. But the point is that ranks give you money, which whatever you do with money, I'm not going to get into the ethical, I'm going to get whatever. Good people do good things with money, bad people do bad things with money. Oh, it's not all about money. Okay, well then give all your effing money away. I'm not going to get into that conversation with you, but the bottom line is, in some way, shape, or form, all of you are here today and listening right now and taking your time to listen 10 minutes over past time because you want to make more money. Why? Because with more money, you have more ability to do more things, more resources, more currency. If right now currency was rocks, you would be wanting to get more rocks because with more rocks, you can do more things, okay? Freedom, hopefully one day if you start doing enough number one and number two, you'll experience the freedom of number 3. And when you do that, it'll forever change. It'll change you forever. Truly will. When you absolutely buy back, I've watched so many, whether it's on a show on Netflix, mortgage-free homes or this or whatever. Everybody is pursuing freedom in one way, shape, or form. I don't care what industry it's in. They don't have to be in network marketing. Everybody wants freedom. That's why they set up retirement plans, why they do all this stuff. Freedom is so incredible, and when you experience it, you'll fight for it, and you'll fight to make sure it never leaves you. Recognition. At the core of all of us, whether you say, I don't need any recognition, bullish. Yes, you do. We all do. We all do. We all do. It started with either the recognition that we did or did not get from our parents. And it's carried on in life from what we did or did not get from our coaches, from our school, from our significant others, from whatever. We are all, inside of us, we want recognition. We want to be told good job. We do. Like, and this is transparent. This is something I would typically teach leaders, but you need to understand it too. All right? You really, truly do. All right? And understand that, hey, listen, we all want that. And in the first 3 or 4 years, I was not staying in this industry because of the money I was making, because I wasn't making any. I was spending more money. Check this out. For my first 4 years in this industry, I was spending way more money than I was making. Let me say it again. I was spending way more money than I was making. But you know what? Thank God that there were some people in there that realized the currency of recognition for me was more important at that time in my life than money was. We all need recognition. I want you to think about that, right? I want you to think about it. It goes back to the core of who we are as human beings. It's massive. But ranks give you money. They give you freedom. They give you recognition, right? But understand, it's just a pathway. It's what is an indicator of how much of number 1 and number 2 you're doing. It's the ranks are nothing more than a way to gauge the amount of volume you're creating and people that you're franchising with, people you're that's it. That's all it is, right? Now we graduate to 1, 2, and now number 4. 1, 2, 3, and now number 4 in progression. Many times, many of us through our achievement will come to an awareness that, hey, we know what it takes to win, and now we need to lead up in steps. So for many of you that have been in sports, have been in anything else, you do realize that sometimes the best achievers, the best players, are not leaders. Whether they don't want to be, whether they don't, whatever. Now, some of them realize, it's just kind of like the example I would give is in your household. You could say that, hey, I'm not a leader, but you're kind of forced to be in some way, shape, or form a leader, right? Because you're the one that's like, people wouldn't eat without you. People wouldn't do without you. They need you, right? So it's kind of, and I don't want you to get intimidated by leadership. Leadership is nothing more than, and like I said, in order to be a leader, some of you think that you have to be the greatest performer. And that's just not the case. I've been on so many sports teams where the person that was scoring the most points, the person that had the most athletic talent and ability, they were not the leader. It was somebody else that had a stronger EQ, right? If we were using it in terms of IQ, EQ, and AQ, it was the person with the strongest EQ and AQ. It wasn't the person with the strongest IQ. So you don't need to be super smart here. You don't need to be super personable. You don't need to look really good. You don't need to do any of those things to be a leader. A leader is a person that when something is challenged, when things get tough, they're the ones that decide to stand up in the gap and say, hey, you know what? It's going to be okay. Hey, you know what? Get your shit together. Hey, you know what? That's where leadership starts. It's responsibility. You're taking responsibility. Check this out. This is key for where we started this, for more than just yourself. You're taking responsibility for more than just yourself. That's leadership. It is, and it starts with one. And if you're still that person that everything you do is for you, and you wonder why things are revolving constantly, you just have to look in the mirror. You literally do. And you now have to learn that, hey, if I want to be a better leader, it comes with me pouring myself and giving to more people and standing in the gap. And when things are challenged, having the belief, because by the way, what all builds your belief is the volume you're creating, the people you're replicating with, the ranks you're breaking. All of this is helping build belief. And you as a leader are standing in the gap and taking responsibility for all the people that don't yet have the belief and haven't started to put these pillars, these foundational parts of the foundation of this business together. So what does leadership do? Leadership makes sure that the business continues to grow. Make sure the business continues to grow. Leadership provides stability, right? Who wants to build something today that's burnt down tomorrow, right? It provides stability. Leadership, and that's why this business is 98% attitude. And when you tap into that and stop swimming and playing in the 2%, you'll realize that and you'll start to become a better leader. You'll have the opportunity to become a better leader. And lastly is leadership provides legacy. Legacy, meaning that, like, what do you want to do that's so much bigger than you for your family, for the people around you? Like, you start creating legacy. And this one was really important for me because I started to see how the things that I was doing was impacting my family. And I mean, impacting my family out, to my distant cousin. It's starting to impact people that I don't even know it's impacting. I'm hearing it from somebody else because of the example I decided to set a long time ago, because I was willing to believe in someone else. And somebody talked about legacy to me. It's you're leaving a legacy for your family and other people to be inspired by you, to pick their head up, because just by being related to somebody, believe it or not, it's like, I think I did a training on this maybe like a year ago. If you go back in your bloodline and you find royalty somewhere, you find that you were, far distant great grandson of a king. In the back of your mind, you're like, that infuses more belief in you. It infuses more like, oh my gosh, I was related to a king. I got royalty in my bloodline. Here's what I'm gonna tell you. Who gives a crap about your previous bloodline? You be the king, you be the queen that starts an example for your family and your friends and the people that most, that are most special to you. And you start to create that legacy to where when they're having a hard time, they think about you. They think about, what would Brian do? They think about, hey, what would Ken do? Hey, they think about, what would Tony do? They think about, what would Chantel do? They think about, what would Karen do? What would Donna do? What would Paige do? What would Megan do? What would Lisa do? That's what they think. In their times that they're struggling, you are the example. You're the legacy that they look to get them through those times. So anyways, I am so freaking far over. I apologize. Hopefully this made sense, but it's just in progression. Our business needs volume, right? Volume plus people. Volume plus people equals ranks. Volume plus people plus ranks equals the ability to lead and leadership. And this is what keeps the whole thing going and keeps it in place. So thank y'all so much, Kelly. I'm so sorry, everybody, that I went so far over, but y'all gave me permission. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it back to you, Kelly. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. You never have to apologize for going over. Everyone loves to hear from you. And thank you so much for all the nice things you said in the beginning and recognizing that in me. I've told you this before. I'm forever grateful for you and Nick for getting me away from the how-to and all that old stuff in the past and getting me to this mindset growth and all of that. So who is ready to be the king and queen in their own bloodline? Like, whoo, chills on that one. I love that. That was amazing. So go with that, you guys. I don't even have to say anything to close that out. That was just amazing. Don't forget Pruvit Progress Promoter Training is tomorrow on the live on the Pruvit Promoter page. If you don't know that, join in there. It's facebook.com/groups/Pruvit Promoter /. So with that, we'll close out. Have a great weekend, everyone. Thanks, Brian.